see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Get your lineups and laughs right here on The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440, presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Just after 11 o'clock, good morning. It is The Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Go check them out. Only available in Leduc. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, Connor, the intern, Cam Tate, all here in the studio as we roll through this Wednesday morning. Lots to get to on the show today. The NFL, of course, never stopping. We're going to continue our tour around the Shield, heading down to New Orleans. Talk some Saints with Megan Glover, covers the team with ABC New Orleans. Kamara, what's the update there? Should we be high on Tyler Shuck? It seems the New Orleans Saints are. And if not, maybe they look to another direction. Maybe quarterback next year in the draft, but they'll find out this year. It looks like he's going to be handed the reins. As we mentioned, Alvin Kamara with the MCL injury. He's out at least a month. The receiver, Tyson Jordan. Jordan Tyson? Two first names.
Jordan Tyson. Yep. Yep. Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Cameron. Cameron Jordan. Out for about 2 months potentially with a hamstring injury. That was the knock on him coming out of college. We thought probably one of the best skill sets as a receiver. Carnell Tate might argue. But the injury concerns, and it's already popped its ugly head. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll talk some Saints on the show. How about those Toronto Blue Jays? Continually just finding ways to get the job done against strong opponents. Nonetheless, doesn't matter. They just continue to play good ball, getting the job done. Bit of an offensive outburst yesterday. Heck, we can even talk hockey. If anything pops up you want to get to, 1-833-401-1440 or email me, Connor at sports1440.ca. We did mention it. The Fantasy Football League, the Frenzy Fantasy League, the opposite of the Fantasy Frenzy, which we've called it for so long, is officially open. If you did want to get your entries, you can do so. $20 a piece to Connor at sports1440.ca. If you haven't done this before, very simple. We just sell essentially entries at $20 a pop. 2 for 40, 3 for 60. You know how it goes. We'll do the draw for this one the Friday before the NFL season gets going on the show. It'll be the 11:20 segment, September 4th. The draft will happen the Tuesday before the season gets going at 6 o'clock that night. So if you do want to get in, make sure you're available to make it to the draft and also tune in because, it'll be easier to track you. You can text in and let us know if your name does get called, and we can send along the information. Half the pot's going to go to the Canadian Cancer Society. The other half will go to the eventual winner. Winner takes all in our tournament. Second place, like real life, gets you nothing. First place, that's where all the glory is. So if you do want to get in on that, Connor at sports1440.ca, $20 a entry. And if you have any questions, text into 1-833-401-1440. You can also check our social media accounts. There is a little graphic that Mackenzie did with all the information. So you can go take a look there as well. Donovan, long day for you so far. How's it going?
And it's not been that long, just 4 hours. It's okay. It's no big deal. It's all in a day's work. It's been good. It's been fun. It's always a good time doing the show with Brando, and we had some fun earlier on. We not as spicy on in or out today. There was just a lot of talk about what people's favorite potatoes are, because if you didn't know, in case it's a huge holiday, National Potato Day.
Mm-hmm.
There was all sorts of different answers. Nobody was heated about it today because I think everybody respects most types of potatoes.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many
There's
bad
a reason
potatoes.
it's so beloved, right?
Yeah, 100%.
There's a reason people use it so many different ways. So that was a good one today. Lots of different answers on that, and talked to Moyle a little bit, forced it in or out.
You gotta get to the oil. Yeah, we actually I personally started getting the mini potatoes.
Yeah,
dice them up, throw some oil, a little Cajun seasoning on them, throw them in the air fryer for 20 minutes, and you got a nice little gourmet potato there. They say there's some health benefits as well, so I'm all on board for it. There's really no bad way to do a potato, I would say. There's less good ways, but I don't think there's a bad way. Why don't we get into it? 3 rounds with Josh Fenwick.
Let's do it.
Everyone said let's do it.
Want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding. Round 1.
All right, number 1. This one courtesy of Connor the Lesser, our intern. Who has the better defensive tape, Larry Fitzgerald or Julio Jones?
I will say, when you guys first sent me this question, I was like, what are we doing? But then, you go back and you watch the highlights, and hey, there is some good defensive tape there. No doubt about it. Larry Fitzgerald with an interception. I will say, I think that for my answer, it's mostly out of necessity. Larry Fitzgerald is my pick. Larry, a legend. A lot of the Julio Jones tape was hustle plays. Those are great. I love it. It makes me love him more as a football player. But that doesn't make you a great defensive player. I need some good square up tackling. Some of the tackles Larry Fitzgerald had to make were balls that were so badly overthrown. Like, he was essentially in punt coverage. Like, that's how bad they were. Now, outside of Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer, it starts to make a little more sense. Josh McCown, John Skelton, Josh Rosen. Kyler Murray was in there. That's fine. Kevin Kolb, Matt Leinart, Derek Anderson, Drew Stanton, Blaine Gabbert, Sean King, Richard Bartell, Max Hall, Brian St. Pierre, John Navarre. Shout out to if you know any of those last 5 quarterbacks. Like, he had to play defense against these teams. On the flip side, Julio had Matt Ryan, who there was parts that weren't great, but also had an MVP season in there. Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill, Jalen Hurts, and Mariota when he was with the Eagles down the stretch. Larry Fitzgerald had to do it all. He had over 40 tackles by some accounts. Some say it's exactly 40. And, huge if. Of course, I'm going to use an if. That play he had on the rundown when he was chasing James Harrison in the Super Bowl, what an effort that was. That was the ultimate effort play. So watching the highlights made me like Julio more, but still give me Larry Fitzgerald.
I'm going to go over to Julio. While I think Larry showed more talent in terms of his ability to make the play, I always lean, I'm an effort guy. And the hustle that Julio showed during his defensive plays was the effort you don't always expect from some of the guys in his position, right? Where you're an alpha wide receiver. Like you watch some of these guys after there's a pick thrown and they show a half effort. Some of these divas in today's game, Julio was just always an effort guy after the pick was thrown, after, the unfortunate play happened. I'll lean Julio. It's just, I'm an effort guy over everything. So
You like that linebacker that gets their third man in, but he always gets in there.
Exactly.
Good effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Heart and hustle, baby. Heart and hustle.
I love it. Like, I will say, I watched those. He had a couple great tackles, no doubt about it. I had an interception also. That improves your defensive rating. But give me Larry Fitzgerald. And EG says, you made up those last 5 names, Connor. I wish I did. Those guys each threw him 1 touchdown pass in their career. I didn't want to get into receptions, but 1 touchdown from John Navarre, Brian St. Pierre, Max Hall, Richard Bartell, Sean King. And Sean King would have been like early on in his career for sure.
Him and D-Hop have some funny names that have thrown them touchdown passes, hey?
Oh, man.
Those, I don't think anything tops Larry Fitzgerald's, but D-Hop's had some funny ones too.
If there would have been like a quarterback from Cleveland, a receiver like Josh Gordon, if he had longevity, D-Hop had Watson, Murray, Yates, Fitzpatrick, Hoyer, Osweiler, Ryan Mallett, RIP, Savage, Keenum, Schaub, Whedon. So some good ones in there as well.
Some really good ones in there too.
Round 2.
Numero dos. What is the worst fantasy move? Drafting a wide receiver with no quarterback or drafting a running back with no O-line?
This is a pretty easy one for me. It's wide receiver with no quarterback.
Do you think it's worse?
I think it's worse.
Okay.
Yeah. Because a receiver with no quarterback, just look at Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is for me, he's an unbelievable talent. He's an 1,000-yard receiver, but he's never, ever, ever going to return value where you draft him. The running back with no O-line, like at least you're gonna have some weeks where you're a real value. You're gonna break through. The receiver with no quarterback, you're almost never breaking through. Like Garrett Wilson's entire career, go look at that as a fantasy player. He gets there by volume sometimes, but the touchdowns are so limited. There's so many different examples you can showcase as to players that have struggled because of lack of quarterback play. Look at Justin Jefferson last year. Like, he barely scrapes 1,000 yards. We all know that JJ is a supreme talent and probably still the most talented wide receiver in football right now. But the guy couldn't do anything. He had 2 touchdowns because he had putrid quarterback play. You look at some of the lack of offensive line running backs. I don't know. Marion Hampton had a better year than JJ did fantasy-wise.
He didn't play half.
Well, he didn't play half the year, but like the weeks that he had that were good, I'm taking those over JJ. I say that as someone who had a Marion Hampton.
He had 4 touchdowns.
More than JJ.
Well, yeah.
JJ had 2. Like, a quarterback list receiver, you're cooked. I'm sorry. I never touch those guys.
Let me throw one name at you then for you. Because I was going to
Devon Achane didn't have very much of an offensive line.
I will
Has his entire career.
Can I go?
Yeah. Sorry.
How about Malik Neighbors, his rookie year? He had 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, 109 receptions. Remember his quarterbacks were poor Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, it can be done if you have competent quarterbacks. Because even a bad quarterback in the NFL is still a really good quarterback who can still find the guys if he needs to. I mean, we've seen like how high level, like I shouldn't use Sam Darnold as an example because he did it with JSN and Justin Jefferson. He knows where to put the football. I think, as MTR says, we're going to find out about Achane this year without Tua, without their coach, without 2 top receivers. This will be the true test about this theory, I believe. But I think it can be done as a receiver with a poor quote-unquote quarterback. If you have a running back without an offensive line, you probably don't have a passing game as well. So all of a sudden your offense, I think, gets a little bit more one-dimensional and they can key in on it. And you are hoping for that big play, which I will confess, Devon Achane can do, right? You give him space, he'll take it to the house. He's an absolute home run hitter. Maybe he might be the exception to the rule here, but I think for me, I would much rather risk it on Justin Jefferson with a sketchy quarterback than Devon Achane with a iffy O-line this year. If those are the two we're going to use.
There are the exceptions to the rule. Like Achane's the exception. Malik Neighbors is the exception. In general, both of these are terrible to do. These are just don't do them in general, unless the player is omega talented. But even Justin Jefferson's not quarterback proof.
No, and offense proof as well.
Offense proof in general. But like that was largely quarterback play. Absolutely tanked his season.
If we were to go look at rankings for 2025, I'm going to see if I can bring it up as fast as possible, just statistics wise, and see like how many running backs would we say were in poor offensive situations? Like the Colts, no. Niners, no. Falcons, no. Receivers who were in bad situations, same sort of thing. I mean, the top guys seemingly do have that top quarterback, and the top running backs for the most part have good offensive lines. But I'm the same with you, because I did ask a fantasy guest that last year. Like, should we be staying away from insert receiver with bad quarterback? And he said no. Like, he was like on the offensive. Like, no, look at Malik Neighbors. That's why I had that example ready to go.
He's
So
huge exception though. If you actually look at like, there's some people who break it down on YouTube and stuff. It's like, it's so hard to finish as a top 24 wide receiver when you have no quarterback. Like Malik Neighbors is one of the first people to do it in actually a shocking amount of time, in like the last decade. There's only been like a handful. It's so hard to do.
Final round.
All right, number 3. What is the crazier sports stat? Greg Maddux faced 20,241 batters during his career. Only 310 of them ever saw a 3-0 count. And 177 of those 310 were intentional walks. Or is it Tiger Woods holding the number 1 ranking among all golfers for 683 weeks in his career? That's total, not consecutive.
You know, I should have brought up Waddle and Tyreek Hill putting up massive numbers with Tua. Would have been a double shot at you there, Donovan, but missed opportunity. I'm going to go with Tiger Woods holding number 1. Like, this is a sport where like the playing field is even. You go out there every week and everyone has that ability. Maybe like less surprising because those who saw Tiger play as long as he did, we know how dominant he was. But to have that for 683 weeks, not consecutive, total, like that's wild. And to have, have a bit of a drop off and then, bounce back, regain that number 1 spot, holding off competitors where there's just so many golfers. Greg Maddux, incredible. The stat line's unbelievable, but I guess I hold him in such high esteem that I just believe in 3 pitches, he's going to get a strike on one of them. So it's just less surprising to me because he was unbelievable and very underrated in his time, I think.
I'll lean Greg Maddux here. The reason I lean Greg Maddux is just because if you look at today's game and how much pitching has changed over the last, we'll call it 2 decades or so, and it's just velocity. That is the primary focus. We don't care about where the ball's going. We just want it to be thrown hard, and we want it to break as much as possible. If you think about that limited amount of 3-0 counts, and then like 177 of them are intentional walks
that's wild.
out of the 310. Like that just shows you how different the approach was, and that shows you how different, like, that guy could find the zone unlike anyone else. And when he, like, Greg Maddux was just such a dog. Like Tiger Woods, it's so impressive on the other side too. But just it for me, growing up in my age of baseball, where it's all about velocity, we don't care where it's going, that to me is the more impressive thing.
Yeah. And early in Maddox's career, he could throw low 90s, right? But
yes,
I don't remember him as that guy who was just zipping it out there. Like, his placement was just incredible.
It was just pinpoint.
So that's why for me, it's like, I get it. In the first 3 pitches of any at bat, he was probably getting a strike. And one of them, it was just going to happen, whether it was going to be a strike or, foul ball, whatever it might have been. Great question.
Was it Greg Maddux who started calling his own pitches at the end of his career?
Yep.
told his catcher, "Don't worry, like I got it. Just
Yep.
put the glove up."
Yeah, and if you want interesting thing to listen to him talking about his battles with Barry Bonds. Very, very interesting in terms of the mindset from pitcher attacking hitter, particularly the elite hitter in Barry Bonds. That's if you want to learn more about the game and how pitchers think and how they want to attack. Very, very interesting. I'd highly recommend looking that up.
Well, we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk some New Orleans Saints as we continue our look around the NFL. We're joined by Megan Glover, who covers the team with ABC New Orleans. It is The Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Beer League Slow Pitch. It's an Alberta summer tradition.
I got shortstop. I'll take pitcher. Yeah, I'm just here for the dugout snacks.
When you're playing on the field, you need serious fuel, and there's only one MVP.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky and hit a home run with the team. It's the perfect snack for your summer sports.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Is it time to upgrade your golf bag? From August 6th to September 8th, the Leduc Golf Club Pro Shop is participating in the massive Callaway 2x trade-in bonus events. Bring in your old clubs and get double the trade-in value, up to an incredible $825 towards the purchase of new eligible Callaway gear. Upgrade to the latest Quantum Woods, Apex Irons, X-Forge, or Reva Rise clubs. Maximize your trade-in value today. See the Leduc Golf Club Pro Shop for details.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas, tag team champions of Sports Know-It-Alls on Sports 1440, presented by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
11:24. Welcome back to the Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhockbeefjerky.com. Go check them out. Only available in Leduc. Of course, we had Jay from Victoria joining us in the city. Came visited the studio on Monday, and then Tuesday went down to Wilhock. I recommend it. You definitely will not regret your decision, and I'm sure Jay has some positive reviews for Wilhock. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson with you here. We got Josh Fenwick, young Connor, and Cam Tate in the studio, all keeping us on track here as we roll through this Wednesday morning. We're going to continue our look around the NFL today as we head down to New Orleans, talk some Saints. This segment brought to you by elksnation.ca, the new website, articles, podcast, and more, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth Double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca. As Megan Glover joins us, covers the team with ABC down in New Orleans. Megan, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. I'm doing all right. About yourself?
I'm doing really good. We appreciate you joining us here on the show today. And, you know, the New Orleans Saints, they're such an intriguing team for me because that division, I think, could be won by all four teams if things go right and they can find ways to stay healthy. But unfortunately for the Saints, it hasn't really gone that way to begin camp. We're finding out that Alvin Kamara is going to miss a month with an injury. Jordan Tyson could potentially be out 2 months with the hamstring. Any updates or clarification on those two injuries and how long we should expect them to miss? Megan, are you still there? Oh, we might have to try to maybe throw her on hold and try to connect once again. But it's shocking, you know, just to see that. And one of the guys, you know, Chris Olave, we've seen him have some issues in the past. He just takes some hellacious hits from, you know, bad thrown balls at times. So, you know, for him to stay healthy, that would be big. But we all like Jordan Tyson at the draft. That's the thing. Like, his tape is good, but there are those concerns about staying healthy, and that'll be the question. And then, you know, the depth, I would suppose, gets tested as well. Good thing for the Saints to bring in Travis Etienne from the Jacksonville Jaguars. We knew him as Travis Etienne previously, Etienne. They've also got some depth at receiver that I find interesting. Bryce Lance, the younger brother of Trey Lance, he's got some skills. He's got the tools, I would say. I would think he could be a player in this league. They also drafted Varian Brown in the 6th round. They've got some options there. Juwan Johnson is a tight end I'm a fan of. Noah Fant, I think, can be serviceable. I guess you kind of look at the offensive line and see how that can hold up. They've invested, though. You look at that. Fuaga was the first-round pick, the right tackle in 2024. In 2025, they went with Calvin Banks Jr. So some nice pieces there. Megan, it sounds like we're back on the line here. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Technology.
No worries at all. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask about any clarification on the injuries for wide receiver Jordan Tyson and then running back Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, it seems as though Jordan could be out upwards to about 2 months. And then in Alvin's case, he could be out for at least a month. So I guess with both of those guys, looking at the pro of the situation is that it's happening now as opposed to in the season.
So before the injury, how was Jordan Tyson looking? Because I've said it a few times here as a draft prospect. I think everybody was very high on him, but the concern was the injuries that he had at the collegiate level. Has he been okay at camp and looked good?
Oh yeah, he looked good at camp. I mean, they kind of had Jordan in more of like a ramp up type situation, not having him do too much because of those injuries. And I guess maybe I don't want to say like tiptoeing with him, but just kind of making sure that he's okay, getting acclimated with the trainers that's at the Saints facility and everything like that. But other than that, to the eye, no, Jordan looks fine. And you could tell that he was like already leading the younger receivers.
So in his absence, of course, Chris Olave, we know how good he can be. Devon Valley comes over from the Denver Broncos. A guy that I like is Bryce Lance, the rookie of North Dakota State. Is he sliding into the starting role, or is someone else in that spot for the time being?
I believe that he is going to have to be the next one that steps up on the depth chart on paper, but definitely like when it comes to the roster situation as well. He looks good at camp. He has the speed, and from his college background as well, which is a championship program that he comes from in the FCS, I believe that he steps up in that role.
Now, in the backfield without Alvin Kamara, I mean, you're probably thrilled, and a lot of Saints fans would be that Travis Etienne comes over from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, Devin Neal, who was drafted. So there is some depth there. How has Etienne looked with this offense?
Etienne looks great. And he's gotten so much praise before he even got to the Saints, just the things that he can do. I know that it seemed to be a situation like an or situation, like or Alvin or Travis, but those two have been able to, I guess, complement each other well. But Travis, a veteran, he's going into multiple years into the league, and I think he'll fit fine in the scheme.
So jumping over to just like this division and what you actually expect to happen here. Like we look at this and we see all four teams kind of on an even playing field. Do you have one slight favorite, or do you think this is truly anyone's division?
Oh no, I think it's wide open. I definitely think it's wide open. The NFC South has been weird the past couple of years, and so I do believe, and I'm not saying this biasly, I do believe that the Saints had the opportunity to win it. Obviously, if healthy, like anybody else. But the fact that the Saints have a lot of depth this year, and you can see the progression and the momentum in that back end of the year, if they can just maintain that and build on it and, again, stay healthy, I think they have a shot at winning the division.
So, obviously, Tyler Shuck comes in. He makes an impression in year one, and he does look like he's a capable starting quarterback. I guess the question for us with Tyler Shuck here is, what do you think is truly the ceiling on this player? And is he capable of, if things going wrong, if things go well, is he capable of leading this team for years and years to come? Can he be the franchise guy?
Oh, I think that's such a tough question. Going into year two, I think that Tyler has proven himself. I mean, I know that the schedule on the back end of the year wasn't super favorable for him, and it was some easier teams, so to speak, with all due respect. But the way that he was able to help, especially pick up that offense, guys were hurt at the end of the year, guys were missing, and he was able to help pick up that offense. And what was just surprising was like the things that Spencer was able to do were very not necessarily surprising, but the fact that Spencer could extend plays with his feet. Well, we saw that Tyler was able to do that, especially in that Bucs game later on in the year, and that Tyler makes those throws, and that Tyler was able to connect with guys like a Kevin Austin. I think that being able to do things like that, essentially making lemonade out of lemons, if you will, I think that has helped his case.
So if you were to go back to the division here, if you were to say, what do you think, like if the Saints are to win this division, what do you think has to go right for them this year?
They have to be healthy from this point on. Is that too easy of an answer?
I mean, it's a fair answer. It's a valid answer, because I think you can look at this entire division, and as you outlined, it's kind of it's up in the air. It's a challenge, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. Whether you look at the Panthers, like what is Bryce Young? We still have no idea. The Falcons, no idea what's going on there at quarterback. The Bucs, you got Baker Mayfield, but this team's getting a little older. There's a lot of uncertainty in this division. I just I guess, like, what do you think the weakness of this team?
What I think the weakness of the team. Well, I know you asked about weakness, but I guess I want to talk about the strength. Like I mentioned earlier, the depth. I think about like the defensive line group is very deep, which is why, unfortunately, leaving Brian Brzee, I believe that they have guys capable to step up. I believe the running back room is even deep. If Alvin and Kendra can stay healthy, we know Kendra has had some issues as well. I think the receiver room is deep. I'm very interested to see how the tight ends look, especially not having a Taysom or even like a Foster Moreau anymore. So maybe the offensive line might be somewhat of a weakness because of the health there. They got David Edwards in now. If Eric McCoy can stay healthy, the healthiest guy on their team last year was Kelvin Banks. He played every game until the second half. of the last game of the year. So until he got hurt, but otherwise he's back now. So I believe if the offensive line is healthy, obviously the Saints can get back to a standard rushing attack that they've had in the past. And if those guys are healthy, then that obviously helps alleviate the offense.
We're looking at the New Orleans Saints with Megan Glover of ABC down in New Orleans. And Megan, looking on the back end here of the defensive unit, and I'm scrolling through here. I like Kellen Moore as a head coach. Obviously, he spent some time under Brandon Staley with the Chargers. Confession, I am a Chargers fan. So I see Brandon Staley's, and I kind of have a little PTSD, like, the start was great, but it didn't end well. But I do like Brandon Staley, the person. I think he seems like a really good guy. How has he been looking with this defensive unit?
Man, everybody has seemed to really like him. That has just been one of the headlines of camp. Like, of course, year 2 for Tyler Shough, year 2 for Kellen Moore, but one of the standout angles have definitely been year 2 under Brandon Staley. You saw, I guess one of the things that really stood out to me was one, Chase Young had a monster year when he got back after missing the first 5 games of the year. Had a double-digit sack year following alongside Cam Jordan, and then how the defensive backs played, the young defensive backs played. I mean, of course, there were going to be some rookie mistakes, but you look at Jonas Sanker, who had a solid rookie year. Quincy Riley had to step up in some situations as well. Justin Reed, fresh to the Saints, and he obviously was immediate in a leadership role. Alontae Taylor, even though he's no longer with the Saints anymore, but now all eyes are on how Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to step up in that role. I think those are one of the smaller headlines. Like for us, it's a big headline, but I think that's one of the smaller headlines, maybe nationally recognized. And then of course, Mario Davis is now gone. So who stepped up in that linebacker role, whether it's Pete Werner or Kane Ellis is now back from the Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look through these names here, and there's some familiar ones popping up. Deion Jones brought over from Tampa. We know the history that he has in that division. He's kind of making the tour around. And you mentioned Justin Reed coming over from Kansas City. That's a heck of a player there. Tyree Wilson, who has the pedigree, obviously was taken very high. The guys who maybe in spot duty can make some plays, and Chase Young as well. Man, I never thought we'd see him leave Washington with how he started off his career there. Just a couple more questions for you. I know camp's in California right now against the Rams, but from what you've seen when you've been down there, has there been any positional battles you're looking forward to seeing how they play out?
Across the board, we're sticking with defense.
Across the board.
Any positional battles? I guess I am more concerned about how the depth chart is going to line up. Of course, now the receiver room, Chris Devon, but who falls in behind, like we just talked about earlier, the Bryce Lances, the Berry and Browns, how they stick out throughout the remainder of camp. We talked a lot about Jonas Sanker getting adjusted in that star position too. Again, had a very solid rookie campaign. So really just how he builds on that would be very interesting. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I did a story about him, and he's having to take over that CB1 role following behind Alontae Taylor, who's now with the Titans. And and then the kicker position is one as well. Of course, the Saints wrapped up their preseason opener against the Jags on Saturday. And, the kicker position kind of up for grabs. It's kind of like as if Charlie Smith has experience with the Saints, of course, and he got in late, but someone might be tugging on his tail now. We'll see with that. And those might be some of my bigger battles. And also, there's still time to figure out the quarterback 2 position, because Zach Wilson surprisingly had it wasn't a surprise he had a good day, but it was a disappointment that Spencer had a rough day. So, yeah, those might be some of my bigger battles to me personally.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, really appreciate this today, Megan. The Saints in Los Angeles, they'll take on the Rams and then the Cowboys to wrap up their preseason. Enjoy it all, and thanks again for joining us today.
Sounds good. I appreciate y'all. Take care.
You as well. That is Megan Glover, covers the Saints with ABC New Orleans. And it's an interesting group. That whole division, like Donovan asked, like anyone could win. I could make an argument against or for any team. Almost any spot. Like one key injury could end it for a team. I don't want to throw that in the air. I don't want that to happen. I want them to all battle to 9-8 records and have it a differential of points. But it's going to be an interesting one for sure. And I kind of forgot Brandon Staley was with the Saints. Good guy, really good guy, great guy, but
Great guy.
Good coordinator, maybe
With football,
not a head coach.
is he great?
Not great. Good. I'd say he's a good coordinator. We'll find out, I suppose, how he gets guys in position.
You know what? You know what else? Who else? Who I forgot about personally?
Whomst.
Have you looked at the Dolphins coaching staff? And remember the Eagles offensive coordinator from last season, Kevin Patullo?
He's down in Miami.
Yep, he's down in Miami, and so
That's not so bad. Adam Gase is with the Chargers.
he is not their offensive coordinator. However, he's their passing game coordinator.
That's like Adam Gase.
So if something, I'm just throwing this out there, if Malik Willis stinks and if Devon Achane has a bad year, you'll be hearing me blaming Kevin Patullo all season long. Just gonna throw that out there now.
Was it his fault or is it Jalen Hurts' fault?
It is most definitely his fault. I can say that with 100% certainty. We have seen Jalen Hurts be good with almost every OC that's come in the building, with the exception of Kevin Patullo. And then there was that one other year where he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. I forgot who the OC was that year, but he's had an OC change literally almost every year for the past 4 or 5 seasons now?
Kellen Moore was there for a season.
Yeah.
Was that the Super Bowl year?
That was the Super Bowl year.
So
yeah,
probably got him the head coach.
Yeah.
You know, statistically, Jalen Hurts wasn't bad last year. Completed 65% of his passes, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had some questionable decisions. That game against the Chargers on Sunday night was wild one.
Their offense just didn't work last year. And, I mean, look no further than how Saquon's talked coming into camp here this year. It's about, I like to do this and this and this, and I like to scour the field. I like to be, laid out behind center. I like to take a view of what's going on with my offensive line and see if I can see anything defensively. And then you have them in different sets, absolutely like different schemes and everything immediately.
But here's the good news. Patullo's your passing game coordinator.
Yes.
Not run game coordinator.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to work well.
He's not going to put Mr. Achane in weird positions. You guys are going to be fine when you want to lose.
You know what? This is a great hire because it's going to help them lose. That's why
key.
It's such a good hire, because what's going to happen, he's going to make them worse than they already were going to be. And then they're going to say, you know what, Kevin, it's been nice. Thank you. You did your job fantastically. You helped us lose. See you later. We're not putting you anywhere near Arch Manning or insert the quarterback here.
EG says, Jalen Hurts stinks, man. Triple C in a truck says, O-line was hurt. Triple C's always going to have his boys back.
O-line was hurt. There was a lot of things that went wrong.
EG also says he's a Cowboys fan. So Triple C in a truck, there you go. That's natural. You have to take shots at the opposing quarterback whenever you can. Now, we'll take a break here. Our last one. When we come back, we'll tell you what's coming up on the Lowdown in the Jason Greger Show. Plus, for you, Bad Niv, we'll give more information on our... It pains me to say, like I used to be able to just say the Fantasy Frenzy Football League, but the Frenzy Fantasy League. I'll get there at some point, but we'll give you more information on that as well. It is the Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the honky tonk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Not sure what wheels fit your vehicle? Evolve Wheels and Tires gives you honest advice from enthusiasts who know fitment inside and out. Whether it's your truck, SUV, or sports car, they have you covered. Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
Crispy, caramelized edges. A pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
What if one moment changed everything? The turn of the key to your dream home, the roar of the crowd from your Oilers season seats, the trip you've always talked about. With the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation Mighty Millions Lottery, winning is just the beginning for you and for them. You could win the $2.4 million grand prize show home plus $100,000 cash and more incredible prizes. And every ticket makes a life-changing difference for Stollery kids and their families. Change lives. Support Stollery kids. Be mighty. Get your tickets now at MightyMillionsLottery.com.
Turn up the volume for a night of rock classics with Jersey Boulevard, the tribute to Bon Jovi and Journey, live November 7th at Pure Casino Yellowhead's Pearl Showroom. Feel the energy of legendary hits like Living on a Prayer and Don't Stop Believing. Performed with powerhouse vocals and authentic stage presence. Tickets from just $32.50. Get yours now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss Jersey Boulevard, the tribute to Bon Jovi and Journey, November 7th at Pure Casino. Pure entertainment, pure action, and pure imagination.
Because 60 minutes is just about enough. The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440. Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
$11:45. Welcome back to the Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Online, WilhaukBeefJerky.com. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, and Josh Fenwick with you here. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. A lot of text to get to here. Okay, Bad Niv. Here's your information for the Frenzy Fantasy Football League. 12 teams. So 2 spots are already taken. The defenders, a.k.a. the defending champion, do have a spot. Background story. The winning team gets an entry into the next season. All they have to do, though, is buy one entry. Gets them in. The defenders stepped up, bought 5. So that was $100, $50 to the charity, $50 to the pot. You guys get it. Brandon and I will get a team. We'll also buy an entry. Don't worry. We're not giving ourselves a free spot. 10 spots available. You can buy an entry for $20 per entry. We will do the draw live on air the Friday before the season gets going. So that is September 4th. Not really, but yeah, September 4th, 11:20. We'll have Mac or Donovan. One of the two is going to come in here and draw entries. 10 teams selected. We will have the draft on the 8th of September. That is a Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So if you do win, make sure your schedule is free. Make sure you can join that. And then we'll have some fun. I think we'll do half point PPR. I don't like it. I don't think you should be rewarded for doing your job. But it's a popular thing. People like it. So we might do that. So if you want to get in, you can e-transfer $20 to Connor at sports1440.ca. Please include your name and email just in case we can, circle back and try to track you down. We got to make sure we find everyone and provide them the info as soon as possible. And we'll have some fun. Connor at sports1440.ca. Spelt the same way McDavid spells it, CONNOR. And if you want to buy 2 entries, you can do so. You can only be drawn once. So if you were to buy 10 entries, you get drawn first. We would disqualify all your other entries. You just get the one team. But it'll be a good time. And we'll try to raise some money for charity. And we always throw it out there. If anybody wants to throw in a package, local business owner, things of that sort, you can text us, email me, and we can make that happen as well. Coming up next, you got the Lowdown Flow Tide. It is Wednesday, so Kevin McCurdy hopping on the show. They'll be live from noon till 2 here on Sports 1440. Watch them on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Then from 2 to 6, we got the Jason Greger Show. I'll be sitting in. Tyler Uremchuk will join us to kick things off. We'll be joined by Ben Raven, who covers the Detroit Lions with M Live. We've got the oil report, of course, stats of the day, 5 questions, roundtable, Struddy, Spec, Cam Tate, and hoping to get a member of the Green and Gold defense as well. The request is in. I was told It is probable, but just waiting for it to be confirmed before I put it out there. A text coming in here from Triple C in a truck. Since 2021, no QB has a better winning percentage than Jalen. But yes, he sucks. Okay, Prescott. I will say, and that's like winning to me. I don't know if I have as a QB stat, but Jalen Hurts wins. That's the things we know. I've said it before. I'll say it again. If we do a quarterback competition, think back to like the late 90s, like Peyton Manning and Steve Young or whatever in Hawaii, just throwing it at those moving targets and trying to throw it as far as they can, keeping it in the hash marks. I don't think Jalen, finishes as high as people might think. But when you put him out there on that football field, can he hit his open receiver? Heck yeah. Can he make the play when the game's on the line? Yeah, we've seen him do it. So you can slander him all you want and say he sucks, which people have. It was a pretty polarizing discussion a couple of weeks ago. But at the end of the day, all he has to do is hold up that one finger with a Super Bowl ring, and he can shut you up with that. Because my quarterback doesn't have one. Donovan's quarterback doesn't have one. Josh's quarterback doesn't have one. Young Connor's quarterback, I guess, does, but not with that team. They're hard to come by, and they have it. So at the end of the day, you got the trump card right there.
Talk about like overhated quarterbacks. And this is funny because these are the two guys who have just been mentioned here. Hurts and Prescott.
I'm a fan of both of them.
I think they're both really good. Now, do they both do things very differently? Oh, yeah. But like Dak Prescott to me is the most overhated quarterback in football. Like, sure, can you say that the Cowboys choke? Can you say Dak chokes? Sure. But if you watch Dak Prescott, I mean, the guy does so many things well. Like, Dak Prescott's actually a really good QB, but I think he just gets hated on so much purely because he plays in Jerry's world.
Yes. That's a fact.
I think most of the hate comes from Jerry's world, and everybody hates that team, so they just say, Dak sucks, yada, yada, yada. Now, the playoff arguments about Dak, I'm there with you. Is he a clutch player? No, not really in my mind. But he's still a damn good quarterback. Is he going to win a Super Bowl? Probably not. But he's still really good. Like, if the Dolphins had Dak Prescott right now, I'd be doing cartwheels.
You might get
But they have
3
Willie
years.
franchise, so it's all good.
I mean, yeah. I think you could win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. You just have to build up a good team, like any quarterback. They've had some of the funniest things happen. Like that loss to the Niners in the playoffs.
Yes.
That play when Ezekiel Elliott snapped the ball for some reason. I mean, I don't know if we ever got an official explanation on what that play call was, but it was like the funniest thing. And I'm sure MTR, it was against the Niners. You got to remember that. You were probably laughing the second you saw it. Like, all right, we won the game. This one's over. But I do think, I would agree with you, Donovan, that Dak Prescott is overhated for sure. He's also a really good fantasy quarterback because he will just sling that. And there's times where the Cowboys, especially last year, like how bad that defense was, they had to score points.
Dak Prescott helped win me my dynasty league last year. I'll put it that way.
Triple C says, yeah, he's great when they're down 30 in the fourth quarter playing cover 3. Well, the stats look good at least. Jimmy Ward blew him up. Yeah, like, do you remember that, Donovan? That formation that they had?
Yeah, I remember those. It's those things that are just so stupid that they stick out in your memory, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like, the Seattle play in the Super Bowl, not running Marshawn Lynch on the 1 yard line, the pick, obviously.
But at least he was in the backfield.
At least he was in the backfield. That one was just so perplexing. It's what in the hell is going on here?
At least they had a center snap the ball, and they didn't have him by himself. The linemen for the Cowboys were spread out wide. It's like the Indianapolis Colts play when who was it? I forget who it was. The receiver snapped the ball and just took the hit. It was like on the punt team. Pat McAfee was on, like, showing on it. He's told the story before. I know everyone loves him right now, but it's just wild that these teams try these things. And that was like regular season. This was down 7 with no time on the clock. I assume the designed play was to swing it out quickly and get kind of your offensive lineman leading the charge downfield, but it was just so mind-boggling.
How many things? So this transitions into like a Detroit Lions thing quickly. How many times have you watched the Lions and gone, "Oh my God, if this went poorly, how much are they getting clowned on?" Like, I've watched that team so many times, especially on fourth down, and they try these ridiculous things, and they somehow find a way to work. And a lot of that's due to Ben Johnson, who's a great offensive mind. But it's like, could you imagine if just like 3 of these things went wrong?
Yeah.
Like, particularly like remember the one where Jahmyr Gibbs like fake falls and there's like the fake fumble or whatever? Like, could you imagine if that just went wrong? And then you have like them actually fall over or whatever, and then you just have this absolute joke and they're getting clowned on. There's so many what ifs in sports, but the Lions have been like the perfect example of how to pull off those stupid things, whereas, the Cowboys haven't.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, knowing your personnel, having protection in the right position certainly helps.
Having a great team.
Yeah.
Not having untrustworthy players.
We're going to talk some Lions later on in the Jason Greger show today. I'm kind of looking forward to that one because not only is that team intriguing, that division as a whole is. MTR says, when Dallas couldn't spike the ball in time against the Niners. Like, yeah, that was another one. Just little things like that. What if they did spike it? Jalen Hurts is a terrible QB. Signed, A.J. Brown. Says the rig. Got him a ring, though. Got him that ring that he'll have forever. That music means we're done. Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you to Megan Glover for hopping on the program as well. Check the podcast if you missed it, anywhere you get your podcast from, or on YouTube. Sports 1440 AM. Coming up next, Lowdown with Lowtide, followed by the Jason Greger Show. Then we'll have Blue Jays baseball at 6 o'clock on the AM feed only. Right now, Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get a $25 voucher. Get your half-season pass today at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
MLB action today. The Jays battling the Rays again today. Max Scherzer on the bump for the Bluebirds. Drew Rasmussen going for Tampa. First pitch going at 4:40. Some live scores around the league. The Tigers up 3-1 on the Pirates in the top of the 5th. The Padres and Mets, bottom of the 3rd, knotted at 0s. The Twins and Braves also at 0s in the 2nd inning. Getting underway in just over 20 minutes time, you got the Battle of Chicago, the Cubbies, and the White Sox. The Red Sox host the D-backs at just after 2. You got the Yankees in Baltimore, the Guardians hosting the Giants. The Mariners, they look to bounce back after losing 22-0 yesterday. Some NFL news. You got Jaden Higgins going down for the year with a torn ACL. Trayvon Diggs is signing a 1-year deal with the Seahawks. And up next on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Lowtide. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
1440.